Welcome to our channel, Rare Coins All World. Today's video is one you won't want to miss. We're talking about a coin that may seem like just another common piece of currency at first glance, but in reality, it could be worth a small fortune. That's right, today we're diving deep into the 1966 Lincoln penny, and we'll explain exactly why this coin has such incredible value and why some of these pennies are known to sell for a jaw-dropping $77,000. Yes, you heard that right, $77,000. Before we jump into the details of this penny's amazing worth, let's take a quick look at the history of the 1966 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been part of American currency since 1909, and over the years, it's seen a number of design changes. In 1966, the coin had a simple and elegant design, with the obverse featuring a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The reverse depicted the famous Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the nation's heritage. Now, while the design of the 1966 penny itself may not seem like anything too extraordinary, the story behind its value begins with something much rarer. As we all know, coins are mass-produced and spent in circulation every day, which is why finding a coin from 1966 in perfect condition can already be a rarity. But what really makes the 1966 penny valuable are the minting errors that occurred during its production. The most significant error associated with the 1966 penny is the missing mint mark error. This mint mark, which is a small letter D or S on the coin, indicates where the coin was minted, either in Denver, Colorado, or San Francisco, California. Most of the 1966 pennies were minted in Philadelphia and did not feature a mint mark at all. But here's where it gets interesting. During the minting process, a handful of 1966 pennies were struck in San Francisco, but these coins were missing the S mint mark on the reverse side. The absence of the S mint mark on the 1966 penny is a major mistake, and collectors find it incredibly valuable. In fact, only a small number of these error pennies are believed to have survived, which makes them highly sought after. If you happen to find one of these rare 1966 pennies in your collection or in your pocket change, you could be looking at a valuable find. But what else makes the 1966 penny valuable? Aside from the minting error, another factor contributing to the coin's worth is its condition. Like any coin, the condition of the 1966 penny is critical to determining its value. Coins that have been circulating for years often show signs of wear and tear. Scratches, discoloration, and fading of the design are common in coins that have been used frequently. However, a 1966 penny that has been well preserved, or better yet, is in uncirculated condition, is much rarer. Uncirculated pennies, especially those that are near mint or mint state, have sharp, clear designs, with little to no signs of damage. These coins are treasured by collectors because they represent a perfect snapshot of a coin from the past. The cleaner the coin, the higher the demand, and the more valuable it becomes. Now, we have to talk about the rarity of the 1966 penny. Although millions of pennies were minted in 1966, only a small fraction of them have survived in pristine condition, and an even smaller number of them have the missing mint mark error. The rarity of these error coins is what gives them such high value in the market. Finding an error coin in near-perfect condition is a bit like finding a hidden treasure, and collectors will pay top dollar for them. So, how can you determine if you have one of these rare and valuable 1966 pennies? It all starts with a careful inspection of the reverse side of the coin. Look closely for the absence of the mint mark. If you don't see the S or D mint mark where it should be, you might be holding a very valuable error coin. Next, examine the overall condition of the penny. If the details are still sharp and the coin looks almost as good as the day it was minted, you've got a winner on your hands. If you think you found a valuable 1966 penny, the next step is to have it professionally graded. Coin grading is essential because it helps determine the coin's authenticity and gives it an official grade based on its condition. There are professional grading services, like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, that can assess your coin and give it a value based on its rarity and condition. Now, for the exciting part, the potential value of your 1966 Lincoln penny. If you find a 1966 penny with the missing mint mark error in uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a coin worth a mind-blowing $77,000. That's right, $77,000 for a penny that may have sat unnoticed in your collection or even in your pocket change for years. The value of these error pennies skyrockets because they're so rare, and collectors are willing to pay a premium to add them to their collections. Of course, not every 1966 penny is worth this kind of money, but if you happen to find one with the missing mint mark error, and it's in excellent condition, you found yourself a rare treasure. And don't forget, there are other types of minting errors on the 1966 penny, like double dies or misstrikes, that could add even more value to your coin. Coin collecting can be a thrilling adventure, and the 1966 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something as simple as a penny can hold extraordinary value. So, the next time you come across a 1966 penny, make sure to take a good look. It could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might be sitting in your collection or even in your spare change right now, and you may not even know its incredible value. You might have heard of some rare coins fetching high prices, but today we're diving into a specific coin that could blow your mind, the 1970 Lincoln penny. While it might seem like just another common coin at first glance, this little penny is hiding a valuable secret that could put a whopping $66,000 in your pocket. That's right, $66,000 for a penny. Who knew, right? Keep watching to learn how this humble 1970 penny can be worth so much and how you can tell if you've got one of these rare treasures. Let's start by looking at the basics of the 1970 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, has seen many different designs over the years. In 1970, the penny had the familiar design of Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, both of which are iconic symbols of the United States. The 1970 penny was part of a regular series, with millions of them being produced, so at first glance, this coin might seem like just another one to pass over, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. What makes the 1970 Lincoln penny special is something that happened during the minting process that left certain coins with unique errors, and those error coins are worth big money. As you probably know, mistakes can happen during the coin minting process, and when they do, they create one-of-a-kind pieces that are highly valued by collectors. It's these minting errors that can turn an ordinary penny into something extraordinary. One of the most significant types of error found in the 1970 pennies is the double die error. A double die coin is created when a coin is struck multiple times by the die, resulting in a double image of the design. In the case of the 1970 penny, the double die error appears on the obverse, particularly on the word "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even on the date, 1970. These words will appear to have a slight shadow or ghost image next to them, creating a double strike effect. This double die error is incredibly rare, and finding one of these pennies is like striking gold. Another reason the 1970 penny might be worth more than expected is due to the fact that there were multiple varieties of minting errors in the 1970s. For instance, some of the 1970 pennies were minted in San Francisco, and some were produced with a proof-like finish, a process that involves striking the coins multiple times to create a mirror-like appearance. These proof-like 1970 pennies are rare and in high demand. As a result, they can also fetch higher prices, especially if they've been well preserved and are in excellent condition. But why are these minting errors so important? Well, in the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are the two biggest factors that drive a coin's value. The 1970 penny is common in terms of production numbers, but finding one with a double die error or a proof-like finish is a lot more difficult. Additionally, the condition of the coin matters. Most of the 1970 pennies that were circulated over the years have been subjected to wear and tear. Coins that have been in circulation can have scratches, fading, and other damage that decreases their value. On the other hand, an uncirculated 1970 penny that has been carefully stored and kept in pristine condition will command a much higher price. The better the condition, the more valuable the coin. This is why collectors are always on the lookout for coins like the 1970 penny that have been kept in mint condition. If you happen to have one of these error pennies, particularly a double die or proof-like penny in near-perfect condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Now, let's get to the most exciting part. Just how much can a 1970 Lincoln penny actually be worth? You may be wondering if you've stumbled upon a rare coin yourself, and if you have, it could be worth an incredible $66,000. Yes, $66,000 for a single penny. That's how much a double die era 1970 penny in uncirculated condition can go for in the right market. These error coins are highly coveted by collectors, and their value has skyrocketed in recent years, making them one of the most sought-after pennies in the world. Of course, not every 1970 penny will be worth this much. If the penny you have is in poor condition or doesn't have a minting error, its value will be far less. But for those who are lucky enough to find a double die error penny in excellent condition, they could see a major payout. So, how can you check if you have a rare 1970 Lincoln penny? It's simple. Take a magnifying glass and inspect the obverse side of the coin. Look closely at the word Liberty, the year 1970, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." If you see a double image, then you might have a double die error penny on your hands. Additionally, check the overall condition of the coin. If it's in uncirculated condition with sharp, crisp details, then you've got a valuable coin. If you think you found a 1970 penny with a minting error, the next step is to have it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service. The most reputable services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can assess your coin's authenticity, condition, and overall value, and give you a clearer picture of how much it's worth. Imagine going through a box of old pennies or sorting through your spare change, only to discover that you're sitting on a $66,000 treasure. The thrill of finding such a valuable coin is something that every collector dreams of, and it's entirely possible that your 1970 Lincoln penny could be worth much more than its face value. Today, we're diving into a coin that might be hiding in your collection right now, or perhaps in your pocket change, and it could be worth more than you ever imagined. That's right, today we're talking about the 1971 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another regular penny, but it holds an extraordinary secret. Why? Well, because this seemingly simple 1-cent coin is hiding a potential treasure worth a staggering $68,000. Yes, $68,000 for a 1971 penny. You might be thinking, that can't be true. But trust us, this rare find is no joke, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how this small coin could hold such immense value. Let's start by exploring the basics of the 1971 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny, as you probably already know, has been part of American currency for over a century, ever since its debut in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. It has become one of the most iconic and widely recognized coins in the U.S. The design has remained relatively unchanged over the years, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Now, the 1971 Lincoln penny is quite similar to other pennies produced during that era, but what makes it particularly interesting is the D mint mark. The D represents the Denver Mint, where the coin was minted. It's important to note that the 1971 pennies were produced in large quantities, and the majority were minted in Denver. So, what could make a penny from this batch stand out as something truly valuable? The key is in the rarity and condition of the coin, and more importantly, certain errors that occurred during the minting process. One of the most valuable versions of the 1971 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark is a coin that contains an error in its design. Error coins are highly prized by collectors because they are unique, and they represent an anomaly in the minting process. The most sought-after error found on the 1971 D penny is the double die error. A double die occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the same die, causing the image on the coin to be doubled. In the case of the 1971 D penny, this doubling is most noticeable on the obverse side, where the word Liberty, In God We Trust, and even the year 1971 show a clear doubling effect. Imagine looking at the word Liberty on a 1971 D penny and seeing the letters appear twice, one set of letters clearly in front of the other. This distinctive double die error makes the coin incredibly unique, and it's exactly what collectors are looking for when they search for rare pennies. If you happen to have one of these double die error pennies, you could be holding a valuable piece of American history in your hands, but that's not all. Another important factor in determining the value of a 1971 D penny is its condition. Like any coin, the condition it's in plays a huge role in its overall value. Most coins that were in circulation in 1971 have suffered from wear and tear, with scratches, discoloration, and fading of the design. However, if you come across a 1971 D penny that's been kept in mint condition, that is, a coin that has been carefully stored and has no signs of heavy circulation, you could be sitting on a true treasure. Uncirculated pennies, especially those with error marks, are always in high demand, and their value can skyrocket in the market. So, what makes this particular 1971 D penny so valuable? It's a combination of rarity and condition. While there are plenty of 1971 D pennies out there, only a small percentage of them have survived in excellent condition, and even fewer have the coveted double die error. This rarity and the coin's historical significance make it highly desirable to collectors and numismatists around the world. Let's break down just how valuable this coin can be. If you manage to find a 1971 D Lincoln penny with the double die error in mint condition, you could see its value reach an astonishing $68,000. That's right, $68,000 for a single penny. Can you imagine stumbling upon such a rare find? It's not every day that a small, everyday coin like the 1971 D penny becomes a highly sought-after collector's item, and that's why collectors are so eager to find these error coins. But what if your 1971 D penny isn't in perfect condition or doesn't have a double die error? Don't worry. Even regular 1971 D pennies can still hold value, though they won't command as much as those with errors. A well-preserved coin in above-average condition could still fetch a decent amount, but to really see that $68,000 payday, you'll need to have a rare error coin that's in fantastic condition. So, how do you know if you've got a valuable 1971 D penny? It's all about the details. First, check for the double die error, look carefully at the word Liberty, the year 1971, and In God We Trust. Look for any noticeable doubling or shadowing of the letters. If you spot any, you might have just found a double die error penny. Next, assess the condition of the coin. If it's free from scratches, discoloration, or other damage, then you're looking at a potentially highly valuable coin. If you think you found something special, it's a good idea to have your coin professionally graded. Reputable coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can assess the coin's authenticity, condition, and value. Getting your coin graded will give you a clear understanding of how much it's worth and whether it's worth selling to a collector. Now, let's talk about the big reveal. Just how much can a 1971 D Lincoln penny with a double die error be worth? If you have one of these rare, well-preserved pennies, you could be looking at an incredible $68,000. That's right, $68,000 for a penny. It's mind-blowing to think that such a small coin can hold so much value, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes the most unassuming coins hold the greatest surprises. So, next time you're sifting through your coin collection or searching through your change jar, make sure to pay close attention to those 1971 D Lincoln pennies. You never know, $68,000 could be just a penny away. Today, we've got something incredibly exciting to share with you. Have you ever thought that your pennies might be worth more than their face value? Well, hold on tight, because today we're talking about one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies you might have lying around. Yes, it's the 1982 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this might seem like just another ordinary penny, but what if we told you that it could be worth a small fortune? That's right. This 1-cent coin, minted in 1982, has become a hidden gem for collectors, and it could fetch you up to an unbelievable $63,000. Sounds too good to be true? Stick with us as we dive into why this 1982 Lincoln penny is worth so much and how you can find one that might just make you rich. Let's start with a bit of background. The 1982 Lincoln penny is significant because it marks a key turning point in the history of U.S. coinage. Prior to 1982, the Lincoln penny was made from 95% copper. However, in 1982, the US Mint made a monumental shift. Due to rising copper prices, they decided to change the composition of the penny, reducing the copper content to just 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This switch from copper to zinc meant that the coins minted before and after 1982 had a very different feel and composition, which is why the 1982 penny is often called a transition coin. But it's not just the historical significance that makes the 1982 penny worth something. There are certain rare variations and errors that can make these pennies incredibly valuable. And that's where things get interesting. You see, when the US Mint made the switch from copper to zinc, there was a mix-up during the minting process. Some pennies were struck with the old copper composition, while others were struck with the new zinc composition. That's right, there are two types of 1982 pennies, and some of them are worth far more than others. The first version of the 1982 penny, the copper variety, is particularly valuable because it was only made for a short period of time before the mint completely switched to the new zinc formula. Since copper prices were soaring, the mint wanted to stop making copper pennies as quickly as possible. However, a limited number of these copper pennies made it into circulation. If you come across a 1982 penny that is made from the original copper composition, then congratulations, you found a rare coin that could be worth a lot of money. But it's not just about the composition. It's also about the condition of the penny. As with any collectible, the value of the coin increases based on its grade. A coin that has been kept in pristine condition, without scratches, tarnish, or damage, is far more valuable than one that's been used in everyday transactions. Uncirculated coins are always worth more, and that's what makes finding a 1982 penny in excellent condition so special. Another factor that can make the 1982 penny incredibly valuable is the possibility of minting errors. Minting errors are highly prized by collectors because they make a coin unique. The 1982 Lincoln penny is known for having several minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks. These errors make the coins even rarer and more desirable, as they are essentially one-of-a-kind. One of the most sought-after errors found in 1982 pennies is the double die obverse error, where the inscriptions on the front of the coin, like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," appear doubled. This happens when the coin is struck multiple times with a misaligned die, resulting in that double image that stands out so clearly. Collectors will pay a premium for these error coins because they are rare, and owning one means you have something truly unique. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much can you actually sell a 1982 penny for? Well, it all comes down to the type of penny, the minting error, and the condition. If you found a copper 1982 penny in uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a coin worth several $1,000s. But it doesn't end there. If your 1982 penny happens to have a minting error, especially one of the more significant errors, like the double die obverse, the price can go through the roof. In fact, the value of some of these error pennies can reach as high as $63,000. That's $63,000 for a single penny. Imagine finding one of these rare coins just lying around in your collection or in your spare change. It could be worth far more than you ever thought possible. The 1982 penny, especially those with errors, has become a hot commodity in the world of coin collecting, and prices are steadily climbing as collectors realize just how rare and valuable these pennies are. If you think you might have a rare 1982 penny, here's how you can check. First, start by looking at the composition of the coin. If your penny has a copper color, and it was minted in 1982, it's probably the older copper variety. Compare it to a typical penny made after 1982, and you'll notice a difference in color and weight. The copper pennies will have a deeper, reddish hue, while the zinc pennies are much lighter in color. Next, carefully inspect the condition of the coin. If it's uncirculated and looks as if it was freshly minted, it could be worth significantly more. Look for signs of wear, such as scratches or discoloration. Coins in the best condition always fetch the highest prices. Finally, check for any minting errors. Look for any doubling on the lettering, such as "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you find a double die, your coin could be worth a small fortune. Also, examine the edges of the coin to see if there's any visible die cracking or off-center strikes. which can also increase the coin's value. If you find that you have a 1982 copper penny in uncirculated condition with a minting error, you might have just uncovered a treasure worth $63,000. That's right, $63,000 for a single 1-cent coin. How amazing is that? So, what should you do if you think you found one of these valuable pennies? The best thing to do is to have it professionally graded. A reputable coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC, can assess the coin's authenticity, condition, and value. They'll provide you with an official grade, which will help you determine just how much your 1982 Lincoln penny is really worth. In conclusion, the 1982 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of change, it's a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. Whether it's the rare copper variety, an uncirculated coin, or a minting error like a double die, this humble penny could be hiding a massive payout. So, keep your eyes peeled, because you might just find a $63,000 coin in your own collection or in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1971 Lincoln penny, a coin that may just be sitting in your pocket or coin jar, but could potentially be worth more than you ever imagined. This 1-cent coin, which seems so ordinary, holds incredible value if you know what to look for. You'll be amazed at the hidden potential that could be lurking in your collection. Let's take a trip back in time to 1971 when the U.S. Mint produced this iconic penny. At the time, the coin was part of the Lincoln Cent series, which had been in circulation since 1909, and is still used today. The 1971 Lincoln penny features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, and on the reverse, the well-known Lincoln Memorial. At first glance, this might seem like just another regular penny, but there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1971 penny may look just like any other cent, but if you're a keen-eyed collector, you'll know that not all pennies are created equal. There are some specific characteristics and nuances about this coin that can make it worth far more than just 1 cent. It all boils down to rarity, condition, and the possibility of minting errors, which are some of the most coveted aspects of coin collecting. One of the first things to consider is the minting error. Over the years, the U.S. Mint has occasionally released coins with mistakes, coins that have flaws or irregularities that make them one of a kind. And let me tell you, collectors are on the lookout for these types of coins. A 1971 Lincoln penny with a minting error could increase in value exponentially. Whether it's a double die error, off-center strike, or any other issue that occurred during the minting process, these imperfections are what make the coins so valuable. It's like owning a rarity, a coin that stands out from the rest, making it one of a kind. So, how can you identify a minting error? Well, one of the most common errors you might find in the 1971 penny is a double die. This happens when the coin is struck more than once with the dies not being perfectly aligned, causing certain features like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" to appear doubled. This is definitely a treasure if you happen to find one. Coins with these kinds of errors can fetch a much higher price because of their rarity and the fact that they are unique. Only a few exist in the world. Apart from minting errors, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining its value. For most people, a penny is just a penny. It might be old, but it's still worth only 1 cent, right? Wrong. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. If you happen to have a 1971 penny that's in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been used in circulation and still looks brand new, you're in luck. These well-preserved coins are more valuable than the same coin that's been through years of wear and tear. Uncirculated coins are always in high demand because collectors want coins that are in the best possible condition. What makes the 1971 Lincoln penny special is that it was produced in large quantities. But here's the kicker: despite the large mintage, uncirculated versions, or those with minting errors, are rare. Many of these coins were used in daily transactions, making them difficult to find in pristine or near-perfect condition. When a 1971 penny is in unblemished state, it becomes more than just a simple penny, it becomes a rare collectible. Now, let's talk about rarity. You may think that because the 1971 penny was mass-produced, it's not worth much. However, when you take into account the rarity of well-preserved versions or those with minting mistakes, it's easy to see why these coins are so valuable. In fact, collectors are constantly seeking out these unique coins, driving up their value over time. If you were to find a 1971 penny with no signs of wear and tear, or with one of the famous minting errors, you could be sitting on a goldmine. So, what kind of value are we talking about here? A 1971 Lincoln penny in excellent condition or with a significant minting error could be worth far more than its face value. You might be wondering, just how much could one of these pennies be worth? Well, depending on the condition and any potential errors, some of these pennies have been known to fetch incredible prices at auctions or in private sales. A 1971 penny with a rare error, or one in uncirculated condition, could be worth $63,000, yes, you heard that right. $63,000 for a penny. A single coin. It's hard to believe, but it's true. That seemingly small and insignificant 1971 Lincoln penny could be worth tens of thousands of dollars if it's a rare version with minting errors or is in pristine condition. This goes to show that sometimes, the most unassuming coins can hold incredible value, and even a penny can be a treasure. If you think you've found a 1971 penny that could be worth something, the next step is to get it graded by a professional. Professional coin graders, such as those with PCGS or NGC, can assess the coin's authenticity, condition, and value. Having a professional opinion will give you a solid understanding of what your coin is worth. These experts will assign a grade to your coin, helping you determine whether you have a valuable collectible or just a typical penny. In conclusion, the 1971 Lincoln penny might just be a hidden treasure in your collection. With its potential minting errors, its significance as part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, and its ability to be found in both uncirculated condition and with rare features, it's clear why this penny is so sought after by collectors. So, the next time you go through your old coins or find a 1971 penny in your pocket change, take a closer look. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. It could be worth as much as $63,000. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing coin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Happy hunting, and we'll see you in the next one.